Many are aware that in the book of Ezekiel, there's a warning for the watchman where if he sees the sword or if he sees danger coming and he doesn't give warning, the blood can actually be on his head. Now, this video that I want to talk about today in part is about that. However, there's actually a specific prophecy about a sword of destruction coming to a land that's literally going to destroy not only the wicked, but also the righteous. And so I believe the body of Messiah is maybe even completely aloof to this, and I think it's time we discussed it. We find it at the end of Ezekiel chapter 20. Let's take a look at it right now. Ezekiel 20, follow me here. Starting at verse 5, it says, "Moreover, the word of Yahweh," that's just how I understand our Heavenly Father's name, "came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face toward the south, and drop your word towards the south, and prophesy against the forest of the south field. And say to the forest of the south, Hear the word of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh Elohim," that's the Hebrew word for God, "Behold, I will kindle a fire in you, and it shall devour every green tree in you, every dry tree. The flaming fire shall not be quenched, and all faces from the south to the north shall be burned therein. And all flesh shall see that I, Yahweh, have kindled it. It shall not be quenched. Then said I, Yahweh Elohim, they say of me, does he not speak in parables?" So this is talking about green trees and dry trees being burnt up. So that is talking about the righteous and the wicked, which will actually be confirmed in the very next chapter. Let's go to Ezekiel 21, verse 2. "Son of man, set your face towards Jerusalem." So now we're actually discussing where this prophecy is going to take place. "And drop your word toward the holy places, and prophesy against the land of Israel, and say to the land of Israel, Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I am against you, and I will draw forth my sword out of his sheath, and will cut off from you the righteous and the wicked." Now, so that confirms what we just read about the dry tree and the green tree. So he's going to cut off the righteous and the wicked. "Seeing then that I will cut off from you the righteous and the wicked, therefore shall my sword go forth out of his sheath against all flesh from the south to the north, that all flesh may know that I, Yahweh, have drawn forth my sword out of his sheath. It shall not return anymore." Let's get a little more information. Let's go down here to verse 14. It says, "You therefore, son of man, prophesy, and smite your hands together, and let the sword be doubled the third time." Now, we're going to talk about this here in just a second. "The sword of the slain, it is the sword of the great men that are slain, which enters into their privy chambers. I have set the point of the sword against all their gates, that their heart may faint, and their ruins be multiplied. It is made bright. It is wrapped up for the slaughter." Now, what's interesting about this is, as we know, Jerusalem has been destroyed twice. Once in the time of Nebuchadnezzar, and during that time, they were exiled to Babylon, and 70 years later they came back. But they were destroyed again during 70 AD with the siege of Rome, and Jerusalem was destroyed in a major way the second time, and in that second time there was the dispersion into all the nations. So what's interesting, praise the Most High, through revelation of the Spirit, it's showing here very plainly that this sword that comes upon the land that was identified as Jerusalem, that it'll actually be doubled the third time. Now, this actually plays into something we read about in Revelation 18. Let's go there. Verse 2, "And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." Well, really quickly, wine is typically interpreted as doctrine. Fornication, reading especially all throughout the prophets, Hosea, Ezekiel, you'll see that the children of Israel consistently were accused of fornicating or being adulterers by walking in the ways of the nations, or even in sometimes attempting to serve the Most High in the ways that they had learned from the other nations. This is the direct interpretation we get from the prophets, through the mouth of the prophets, about fornicating. And so all nations have drunk a form of doctrine of, going astray from the Most High. And let's be honest, doesn't matter what world religion it is, or even Satanism, and most people have gone astray from the Most High and from his ways. We'll get more into that here in a second. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Elohim has remembered her iniquities. Now listen, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she had filled to her double. Now, my question when it comes to Mystery Babylon, which is the word mystery means an investigation is needed. Now, a question to investigate properly the identity of Mystery Babylon. Do you think the Most High would have us investigating the world religions or encyclopedias, or do you think he would want us looking in his word for where he prophesied that this double portion would be dealt out? Let's go to Isaiah 40, verse 2. Speaking of this double, Isaiah 40, verses 1 through 2. Comfort ye, my people, says your Elohim. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, there's another witness, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she has received of Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. Now that sounds eerily like what we just read in Revelation. We'll have some more confirmations here in a second. Messiah, hopefully everyone watching this is a believer in the Son of the Most High. I know his name is Yahusha. Maybe some of you know his name is Jesus. Now, if you believe him, that he is a prophet and that he prophesied things to come, he said himself. Let's take a look at Luke 21, verse 20. It says, When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. It's close. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Now listen, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Now, before this video is over, I'd like to prove to you via the scriptures that all things have not been fulfilled. And here in just a few verses later, you'll see that these are precursors to the Son of Man coming and returning. So these are things that we're going to have to see. And so it's interesting, the Matthew 24 parallel, we just saw in Luke 21 that when we see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. And the next thing is to flee to the mountains. Those who are in Judea flee. Now it's interesting, when you look at Matthew 24, when you therefore shall see the abomination, which Jerusalem is called over and over all throughout the Old Testament, when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. And the reason for this is because the prophecy in Daniel, which is in Daniel 9, all about the 70 weeks, it's about the people and about the holy city to finish transgressions, make an end of sins, make reconciliation for iniquity, bring in everlasting righteousness, seal the vision and prophecy, and anoint the most holy. Now, here's where we see that this is about the holy city, Jerusalem, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations. Consider that I understand that most of Christianity interprets this as the Antichrist. However, I believe this is Messiah who confirms the covenant with his people. And in the middle of the week, he did cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease by his offering. He ended the animal sacrifices. And because of the abominations in Jerusalem, he shall make it desolate, 70 AD, even until the consummation. Well, the consummation of what? The consummation of times. Jerusalem was to remain spiritually desolate, a habitation of devils and dragons, until the end times. And that determined the double portion stemming from Ezekiel and other prophecies we're reading shall be poured upon the desolate. So Jerusalem spiritually is desolate right now, not bringing forth the fruits of righteousness, not a nation that accepted her Messiah, not a nation even keeping the laws of the Most High. You ask why? Wait, even Messiah said that. In speaking to the Pharisees in Matthew 15, verse 7, he says, You hypocrites! Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draws nigh, they come close to me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And that's what Judaism ultimately was guilty of. They replaced the commandments of the Most High with their own man-made teachings. The same goes on today. Now I ask, has Christianity done the same thing? Have you replaced the law of the Most High with a different set of rules? I'll let you answer that. But last thing I want to share with you is to prove to you that all things which are written concerning Jerusalem have not been fulfilled yet. This is coming from the very beginning, the Torah. This is the denunciation upon his people, those who were in covenant with him and went astray from him, even so much as to kill his son and say, "Come, this is the heir, let us kill him and seize the inheritance for ourselves." These are the people that walked away from the Torah of the Most High in order to keep their own man-made traditions. Deuteronomy 29:21, "And Yahweh shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to the curses of the covenant that are written in the book of the law, so that the generation to come of your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land shall say, when they see the plagues of that land," the land of Israel you just identified, "and the sickness with Yahweh, which Yahweh has laid upon it, and that the whole land," listen, "the whole land thereof is brimstone, salt, burning," sounds like a little bit like Sodom and Gomorrah, right? "That it is not sown, nor does it bear, nor any grass grows in it, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and Admah and Zeboim, which Yahweh overthrew in his anger and in his wrath. Even all nations shall say, wherefore has Yahweh done thus unto this land? And what means the heat of this great anger? Then men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt." So, while the mainstream media will paint a very different picture of why that land will receive a double portion of Yahweh's hands, and however it comes, whether it's missiles, nukes, or just a full-on invasion, who knows? Or it can be brimstone from heaven. Either way, when that place is destroyed, the world will have its narrative. However, the Most High has told us for many years, for many centuries, many generations, through the mouth of many prophets, of why she will be destroyed. I hope that our brethren, those who have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach, would not follow the error of those who are about to receive the double portion. Blessings. Shalom.